Usually when we look at why a business fails, there's this underlying expectation of like a slow, painful decline.
Yeah, gradual thing.
Right. It looks like a leaky faucet. You lose a client here, maybe a major contract there. The market shifts slowly over a few years, and the business owner basically just, well, sits there watching the water level drop until the well is completely dry.
Yeah, it's a gradual starvation. And typically, if you know what to look for, you can see the warning signs from like a mile away.
Exactly.
Where you have time to course correct or cut costs or, pivot your strategy entirely.
But today we're looking at an industry breakdown focused on the roofing sector. And it paints a completely different picture.
Completely different.
Yeah, because in rapid response industries, that slow leak concept is entirely irrelevant. The source material shows us a landscape where the biggest threat to a company isn't starvation, it's drowning.
Wow.
So, our mission for today's deep dive is to unpack a critical operational breakdown that happens in the immediate aftermath of major weather events. We're exploring this fascinating concept called the storm-to-profit philosophy.
Right, which details how massive, sudden surges in demand can actually, well, they can completely destroy a business if the right systems aren't running in the background.
Exactly. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, running your own company, or just, fascinated by the hidden mechanics of rapid business growth, this deep dive is honestly a masterclass in handling sudden volume.
It really is. The source material traces the whole life cycle of a massive weather event, like a major hail or windstorm. It tracks the business response from that initial huge adrenaline rush straight through to the devastating financial losses caused by disorganized follow-up.
Right.
And ultimately, it shows how professional organizations engineer their operations to actually capture that windfall safely.
And I think the most surprising insight from the source material, like the thing that immediately jumped off the page for me, is this idea that most roofing companies don't lose money because they can't roof.
Right.
They lose money because they lose control.
That is such a crucial distinction. I mean, you can have the highest quality shingles, the most skilled labor force, impeccable safety records.
Yeah.
None of that matters if the operational skeleton of the company just, well, shatters under the pressure of incoming demand.
Oh, absolutely.
Roofing business owners will often lose sleep every time the wind picks up or, the forecast shows hail. And it's not because they're worried about the roof over their own heads. The stress comes from knowing the absolute chaos that's about to detonate inside their office the next morning.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because to really understand this operational breakdown, we first have to understand the trigger, right? We have to look at the environment the morning after a massive storm hits a populated area.
Right. The physical environment completely changes overnight. Storm passes, the sun comes up, and an entire community wakes up to realize their most valuable asset, their home, has just been compromised.
Yeah, which is super stressful for the homeowners.
Exactly. So suddenly you have a concentrated geographic area where hundreds or maybe thousands of homeowners all need the exact same high-ticket service at the exact same time.
And the sources detailed just how instantaneous this is. The phones start ringing off the hook, like within hours.
Literally hours.
Leads are piling up faster than the front desk can even type them out. Sales reps are jumping into their trucks, driving aggressively from neighborhood to neighborhood, just trying to cover an entire city at once.
Right, there's this immediate, palpable sense of adrenaline.
Oh yeah, it feels like a gold rush to the sales team. Everyone's just chasing leads, knocking on doors, pulling over when they see a damaged gutter. It's wild.
But what's fascinating here is how the very thing a business desperately wants, an abundance of leads, right? A phone that simply won't stop ringing, that becomes the exact catalyst that overloads their capacity. I mean, a local contractor might spend months or even years trying to optimize their marketing just to get the phone to ring consistently.
Yeah, paying for ads, SEO, all of it.
Exactly. And then nature flips a switch. The phone rings 1,000 times in a 48-hour window, and the volume simply breaks them.
It's like a quiet local diner suddenly getting hit by 3 massive tour buses, all pulling into the parking lot at exactly the same time.
Oh, that's a perfect way to put it.
Right. The owner looks out the window, sees 100 hungry people walking to the door, and thinks they just hit the absolute jackpot.
But they only have one cook on the grill.
Exactly. One cook, maybe 2 waiters on the floor. It's not a jackpot. It's a recipe for disaster. People are going to get the wrong food, tickets are going to get lost, and half the dining room is just going to walk out angry.
Yeah, the sheer demand just massively exceeds the underlying infrastructure.
So in that diner scenario, the kitchen catching fire is the exact moment the roofing company's manual workflows collapse.
Precisely. Because that initial adrenaline of the storm masks the reality that the business is fundamentally unequipped for the volume. The sales reps are out there running on fumes, caffeine, and excitement.
Oh, yeah.
But that excitement blinds them to the operational gaps that are widening by the hour back at the office.
So they have, what, maybe 300 fresh leads scribbled on sticky notes, whiteboards, legal pads.
Right?
But, human memory maxes out. What happens on day 3 or day 4 when the adrenaline fades and those hundreds of homeowners start calling back?
Looking for their estimates.
Yeah, or wondering why nobody showed up.
And that is exactly where the money starts to quietly but very rapidly disappear. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars evaporating simply because of the collapse of manual tracking.
Jeez.
A sales rep takes a call while driving, right? They write a name and number on a fast food receipt, and it falls under the seat of the truck.
Oh,
That's a $20,000 contract. Gone. Or someone in the office updates a shared spreadsheet, forgets to hit save, and suddenly 5 appointments are wiped from the record.
see, wait, I have to stop you there. I get that roofing is a very hands-on physical trade, but, it's 2026.
Yeah.
Are serious companies really still running multi-thousand-dollar construction jobs on paper and spreadsheets? It's hard to believe they haven't adopted basic digital workflows.
I know it sounds crazy, but if we connect this to the bigger picture, it actually touches on the psychology of scaling under extreme pressure.
Okay, how so?
Well, when humans are placed under extreme sudden stress, like a massive influx of storm leads, we don't naturally elevate to complex systems. We regress.
Oh, we go back to what we know.
Exactly. We regress to our most basic ingrained habits. If you're a business owner who's used to just writing a name on a whiteboard when the phone rings 3 times a day, your immediate instinct is to just keep doing that when it rings 300 times a day.
You just tell yourself, I just need to write faster.
Right. We just need to hustle more.
So you try to outwork a systemic bottleneck.
Yeah. But relying on manual tracking during a massive surge completely strips the business owner of any operational visibility. They are flying entirely blind.
Wow.
They have no dashboard showing them who has been called, who is waiting on a materials estimate, or which specific sales rep is dropping the ball. And because there's no centralized tracking, they don't even realize how much money is slipping through the cracks.
Because they only see the jobs they successfully closed.
Exactly. They don't see the dozens of jobs they lost just because a sticky note lost its stick and fell behind a desk.
And the source material highlights some incredible examples of this chaos, like duplicate visits to the exact same homeowner.
Right. Imagine being a homeowner with water actively leaking into your attic. You're stressed. You finally get a roofing rep to come out, do an inspection, and they promise to send a quote.
Okay.
They drive away. 2 hours later, a completely different rep from the exact same roofing company knocks on your door, completely unaware the first guy was just there.
That is so embarrassing. It makes the entire operation look deeply incompetent.
Oh, absolutely.
The homeowner is sitting there with a leaking roof. They feel like a number, and they immediately lose trust. So what do?
They find someone else.
Yeah. They go to Google, find the competitor who actually has their act together, and sign a contract with them instead.
And that initial failure to track a lead is really just the first domino. The damage of this manual collapse ripples outward. It causes a systemic, compounding financial bleed across the entire company.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's dig into that compounding cost, because the breakdown dedicates a lot of focus to this.
Yeah.
It isn't just about losing an initial lead.
Right.
Because the lead is managed on paper, the inspection details get lost. Because the inspection details get lost, the formal estimate is delayed. And because the estimate is delayed, the entire insurance claim gets completely bottlenecked.
Exactly. We have to look at the mechanics of how these storm jobs are actually funded. In a storm scenario, the homeowner's insurance company is footing the bill for the roof replacement.
Right.
But insurance adjusters don't just hand over a $30,000 check because a roofing rep scribbled hail damage on a legal pad.
No, I imagine they want proof.
Tons of it. They require hyper-specific, time-stamped photo evidence of the damage. They require exact line-item measurements of the roof, the gutters, the underlying decking.
So if the sales rep is rushing because they have 20 houses to hit before sundown,
Yeah.
and they forget to take the pre-built photos of the exact hail strikes, or they misplace the folder with the measurements,
Yeah.
the insurance company just kicks the claim back.
Yes. And this raises an important question. Does rapid growth actually accelerate a company's failure? because that is where the cash flow bottleneck becomes lethal.
Wow.
Let's walk through the math of a typical scenario the report outlines. The disorganized company somehow manages to book 50 jobs.
Okay.
They have to pay their labor crews out of pocket. They have to order the shingles, the underlayment, the dumpsters, all out of pocket. Let's say that costs them $10,000 per job up front.
So that's $500,000 leaving the bank account right there.
Exactly. But they're expecting a $30,000 payout per job from the insurance companies to cover that cost and generate their profit.
Right, but those payouts are now frozen.
Frozen entirely. The insurance company requests the documentation. The roofing office is like tearing apart file cabinets looking for the photos.
Oh, man.
The rep who took the photos quit last week and took his phone with him. The estimates have mathematical errors because they were done manually on a spreadsheet. So the insurance company delays the payment for 30, 60, sometimes 90 days.
That's terrifying.
The roofing company has $1 million in receivables on paper, but zero cash in the bank to make payroll on Friday.
So they literally choke on their own success. They secured the work, they bought the materials, they did the labor, and they bankrupted themselves in the process just because their back office documentation was a mess.
That's exactly what happens. And while they're struggling with cash flow, they are simultaneously detonating their brand equity. Reputation is, without a doubt, the most valuable currency a local contractor possesses.
Oh, for sure. When a neighborhood gets hit by a storm, the neighbors talk, they have community Facebook groups, they chat at the mailbox.
Exactly. And if you're the company that promised to send an estimate on Tuesday and ghosted the homeowner until next Monday, that homeowner is telling everyone on their street.
Yeah, entire neighborhoods will blacklist a contractor based on one dropped ball. And think about the tragic irony of the marketing spend here.
That's painful.
Right. A roofing company will spend heavily on customer acquisition billboards on the highway, hyper-targeted online ads, direct mailers sent to every house in a zip code specifically to make that phone ring. They pay real, hard-earned money for every single lead.
Right. And then they effectively take that marketing budget, set it on fire, and torch their local reputation simply because their workflow couldn't prompt a rep to call the homeowner back.
They literally paid money for the privilege of angering a potential customer.
It's absurd. If an owner cannot track their pipeline, if the sales team is operating in the dark, and if cash flow is choked by endless paperwork delays, rapid growth without systems absolutely accelerates a company's failure.
Yeah.
When you're small, doing, 2 roofs a week, you can muscle through disorganization. You can keep it all in your head.
Sure.
When you scale to 50 roofs a week during a storm, that disorganization scales exponentially with you.
So getting hit by a storm without a system in place is essentially a business death sentence.
Pretty much.
But there's a way out of the diner fire, right? The source material makes it very clear how the top-tier professionals handle this. To survive the compounding cost of a storm, a company has to stop reacting to the weather and start controlling the workflow.
Yes, moving from chaotic panic to disciplined, centralized operations.
And this brings us to the core of the storm-to-profit mindset. The highest-performing organizations understand that the product they're selling isn't just the shingles on the roof.
Right.
The product is the operational machinery that delivers those shingles. It's the smooth, frictionless experience for the homeowner and the predictable, visible cash flow for the business owner.
And you simply cannot deliver that product consistently using an out-of-the-box spreadsheet.
Exactly. The primary shift the report highlights is the implementation of specialized, centralized systems, specifically custom-configured customer relationship management platforms, or CRMs, designed for high-volume contracting.
Right. And they aren't just using it as a digital Rolodex.
No, not at all.
They're using it to enforce strict follow-up workflows, track inspection photos accurately in the cloud, and execute extremely fast estimate processes. It creates total operational discipline by removing human memory from the equation entirely.
Which is huge.
Because human memory fails under stress. A well-configured CRM system does not.
It's like moving from paper maps to a centralized air traffic control tower, but like an advanced one.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, before the software, your sales reps and your leads were like planes flying blind in heavy fog. You've got reps landing on the wrong runways, knocking on the same doors. But an advanced CRM doesn't just show the owner where the planes are. It actually manages the airspace automatically.
Right. If a new lead calls in, the system instantly logs the address and puts that lead into a holding pattern. It analyzes which sales rep is currently in that specific zip code and automatically routes the lead to their mobile device.
And it enforces the follow-up, right?
Exactly.
If that rep is overloaded and doesn't acknowledge the lead within 15 minutes, the system automatically pulls it back and routes it to the next available rep who actually has bandwidth. Nobody crashes, and no lead just sits there waiting indefinitely.
The automation triggers are the real secret weapon here. The system is designed to catch everything so the humans don't have to. The sales rep climbs down from the roof, takes pictures of the hail damage, and uploads them directly into the homeowner's digital file right from their phone. Totally. Then the system instantly notifies the production manager in the office that the inspection is complete. The production manager uses templates in the system to generate an exact line item estimate in minutes and emails it to the homeowner for a digital signature.
So while the disorganized guy down the street is still, digging through the floorboards of his truck, looking for his legal pad to write up a quote,
Right.
the professional company has already inspected the roof, generated the exact estimate, secured the digital signature, and automatically sent the required timestamp photos to the insurance adjuster.
And that speed and precision completely redefine the customer experience. The homeowner feels taken care of. The insurance adjuster gets exactly what they need, exactly when they need it, which means the claim gets approved faster.
And the business owner?
They can look at a dashboard and see exactly how much cash is in the pipeline, where every job is in the production phase, and which reps are converting leads into contracts.
It completely flips the narrative. The storm itself does not equal profit. The storm simply creates the raw opportunity. It's the underlying systems a company has built that convert that opportunity into actual bankable revenue.
Yeah.
If you try to scale a business to meet storm demand without those digital safety nets, you don't create a local roofing empire. You just engineer an incredibly stressful operational collapse.
It requires a fundamental shift in how leaders view technology. Software in these industries isn't just an administrative tool or, an IT expense.
Right.
It's a load-bearing pillar of the company's infrastructure, just as critical as the ladders on the trucks or the safety harnesses the crews wear.
So what does this all mean for you? If you're listening to this right now and you're running a business, whether that's a local contracting firm, a software startup, a consulting agency, or really any operation that scales, how do you stress test your own systems before the weather changes?
That's the million-dollar question.
Because if your daily operations still depend on scattered email chains, personal text messages, isolated spreadsheets, and relying on your team to simply remember to execute the next step, you need to step back and evaluate your structural integrity.
Because growth demands operational control. You have to centralize your workflow so your team can build smarter, follow up instantly, and actually handle the volume of success safely.
Yeah.
Because if you lack the infrastructure, your success will become the very thing that sinks you.
You don't fail slowly when you're drowning in opportunity. You fail fast. You don't want to be the diner that catches fire the moment the tour buses pull up. You want to be the operation with the systems running smoothly in the background, ready to serve every single customer calmly, efficiently, and profitably.
I think the most vital takeaway is identifying your vulnerabilities before you are forced to. Think about your own industry or even your personal workflow. If your version of a storm hit tomorrow, a sudden, massive, overnight surge in demand, visibility, or responsibility, would your current systems capture that windfall and convert it to lasting success?
Wow.
Or would they crack under the pressure, leaving your hard-earned reputation in the rubble?
Something to seriously consider before the forecast changes. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Keep building smarter, stress test your systems, and we'll catch you on the next one.